Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra.
Welcome to this Wednesday's edition of Market Mantra, the program in which we give you a complete update on the economic, business and stock market news of the day. I'm Arjun Chaudhary and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Vishal Sharma.
नमस्कार, मार्केट मंत्र में आप सभी का स्वागत। प्रतिदिन की तरह आज भी हम आर्थिक, व्यापारिक और शेयर बाजार से जुड़ी ताजा खबरें आप तक लाएंगे और उन पर चर्चा भी करेंगे। कार्यक्रम में आज चर्चा के लिए हमारे साथ ऑनलाइन आमंत्रित हैं वरिष्ठ आर्थिक विशेषज्ञ जयंता दास। जयंता दास, नमस्कार, मार्केट मंत्र में आपका स्वागत।
नमस्कार।
और सबसे पहले हेडलाइंस के साथ हैं अर्जुन चौधरी।
Key domestic stock indices climb more than 1% amid positive global cues. Sensex closes near 57,700 level. Nifty settles above 17,150. Rupee appreciates by 26 paise against the US dollar. And Brent crude prices rise more than 4% to trade above $72 per barrel.
सकारात्मक वैश्विक संकेतों के बीच प्रमुख घरेलू शेयर बाजार 1% से अधिक चढ़े। सेंसेक्स 57,600 के करीब हुआ बंद। निफ्टी पहुंचा 17,150 के स्तर से ऊपर। डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपए में 26 पैसे की मजबूती और ब्रेंट कच्चे तेल की कीमतें बढ़कर $72 प्रति बैरल से ऊपर। कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत शेयर बाजार से करेंगे। आज जोरदार तेजी रही है शेयर बाजारों में। सकारात्मक वैश्विक संकेतों के बीच प्रमुख घरेलू शेयर सूचकांक सेंसेक्स और निफ्टी में आज 1% से अधिक की तेजी रही। सेंसेक्स 57,700 के नजदीक पहुंचकर बंद हुआ, जबकि निफ्टी 17,150 के स्तर से ऊपर जा पहुंचा। बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का सेंसेक्स 620 अंक के उछाल से 1.09% बढ़कर 57,685 पर बंद हुआ। नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का निफ्टी भी 1.08% की वृद्धि से 184 अंक ऊपर 17,167 पर बंद हुआ। व्यापक बाजार की बात करें तो बीएसई मिड कैप इंडेक्स में 1% और स्मॉल कैप इंडेक्स में 0.27% की बढ़त दर्ज हुई।
Sensex and Nifty today climbed more than 1% in the afternoon trade. Both stock indices rose amid positive global cues. Sensex closed near 57,700 while Nifty settled about 17,150 level. BSE Sensex appreciated by 620 points or 1.09% to trade at 57,685. NSE Nifty also surged 184 points or 1.08% to trade at 17,167. In the broader market at the BSE, the mid-cap index climbed 1% and the small-cap index surged 0.27%. In the Sensex pack, shares of 22 companies gained while 8 logged losses. IndusInd was the top gainer as it surged 5.7%, followed by Axis Bank, which gained 3.5%. SBI closed 3.2% up and Tech Mahindra gained 3.1%. On the other side, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories plunged 1.6%, Ultratech Cement tumbled 1.5%, while Sun Pharma and Bharti Airtel both fell 1.1% each. In sectoral indices, 16 out of the 19 sectors logged gains. Metal logged gains by 2.4%, energy climbed 2%, BankX surged 1.8%, and auto added 1.5%. On the other hand, the healthcare sector stocks plunged 1.4% and consumer durables tumbled 0.5%. The overall breadth of the BSE trade was positive as shares of 1,827 companies gained while 1,431 fell. Shares of 134 companies remained unchanged. Let's have a look at the rupee now.
जी अर्जुन, रुपए के प्रदर्शन पर नजर डालें तो अंतर बैंक विदेशी मुद्रा बाजार में रुपया आज 26 पैसे मजबूत होकर $1 की तुलना में 74 रुपए 91 पैसे के स्तर पर बंद हुआ। विश्व की 6 प्रमुख मुद्राओं की स्थिति दर्शाने वाला डॉलर इंडेक्स 0.02% घटकर 95.98 पर कारोबार कर रहा था।
And now we're joined by our business analyst Jayanta Das. Jayanta, good to have you on Market Mantra.
Thank you.
Jayanta, just looking at market performance today, auto, bank and metal indices went up between 1 and 2%. Could you tell us something about the impact of the auto numbers in terms of sales, which had a direct effect on its pricing? What does it indicate about the economy and the market as well?
Well, I guess in terms of auto sales, the trigger happened specifically immediately after the COVID ended. And I believe there is a good run, and including the number of models as well as the right optics provided in terms of policy support for the government, which also includes, let's not forget, the EV sector, where India wants EV to be the, India to be the hub. The government wants India to be the hub of the EV sector. So all this put together obviously augurs well for the auto sector, and I'm quite happy to look forward to an increased buzz and activity on the counters over there.
Do you see the government policy of buying electric vehicles and setting up charging stations in all government departments and agencies as a factor driving specific auto stocks right now in the market?
Well, see, I look at it from two aspects. One is the government, if you include the central and the state government, they are one of the largest customers of the auto sector, specifically across all categories of vehicles, which, let's not also forget, which also includes the heavy vehicles which are bought in by PSUs, although they are not in the electric format right now. Having said so, what's also important to understand is the instant query, not over in India, but also in USA, and specifically in the western coast of USA, where the density of electric cars, I guess, is highest in the world at presently. The query right now, the concern to some extent right now is the infrastructure support. So I guess that also speaks critically well in terms of policy, how fast the government changes its policy and supports the policy of, electric vehicles, including charging stations, which is one of the critical factors. Now, the good thing about charging stations, unlike, say a fuel, oil petrol station or, a diesel station is, charging stations can be set up real fast. The access to electricity is universal, and you need some, basic infrastructure in creating the charging stations. That's a good thing. So in terms of, spread, in terms of distribution, I guess it will be much more easier. As an example, let me just tell you, as a very small example, but an important example, Central Delhi, till 1 year ago, had over 90 charging stations, just Central Delhi itself. And I believe right now it will be far more than that because my figures are almost a year old. So this is the speed at which the infrastructure can be changed and laid out for the electric vehicles. And we should also not forget when Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, not only once, but in numerous occasions in the past 6 months has said that the other important factor is the pricing part. He said another 2 to 2.5 years, the government would bring in enough tax reforms to ensure that a diesel price and a petrol price and a electric vehicle price of all the three types of vehicles will be the same.
And looking at the macroeconomic data that's coming out, I spoke to you during Money Matters as well. You spoke about the GST tax collection, which is at 1,31,526 crore rupees for the month of November, but reflecting the sales in the month of October. Then there is the PMI data for manufacturing, which is at a 57. Then you have the GDP for the second quarter, which is also at 8.4%. So how do you see all of this translating into the right sentiment of the market going back to the 60,000 level in the month of December?
Well, I believe that even if the market, is range bound, say from 57,000 to 60,000 levels, I would give full score to the market in terms of creating a decent foundation to play up. Because the important thing to understand is the weekly moving average has been moving up of the market. So that's an important indicator in terms of markets holding to present position. Yes, we had some recent slumps. We had some loss of value of, erosion of the money of the investors, but that's all part of the game. So to understand from a big picture point of view, now if I add in the GDP and GST collection specifically for the month of October. Now, I would, partly discount the GST collections because it's been the Diwali month. And as we all know, typically, it's one of the best months in terms of shopping and taxes and things like that over a calendar year. So taking a cue from there, even if that's so, I guess it augurs well in terms of how the jump has been happening in terms of absolute numbers, given that this collection is, I think, the second highest ever, right? If I'm not mistaken, statistically. So it speaks well, even in absolute numbers. Now, coming to the GDP growth of 8.4%, we were all looking forward to 9% plus. But I guess oil prices and an inflationary take has partly taken a bit of a toll in terms of how the GDP numbers augur in. But then you have your manufacturing numbers, which came in recently and which also speaks well of a slight, upward trend in terms of how manufacturing pans up. Now, we all know these last 2 quarters are the busy season of the economic cycle. And I believe that if, in case the South African variant of the COVID virus doesn't create an havoc, these numbers would be sustained and these numbers will be improved on from here on. So coming back to a question, whether do we see a 60,000 level back in Sensex, the chances would be quite, more the chances are of it happening than not happening. But at the same time, if it's range bound between 57 to 60, I would call it a strong market laying its foundation, and I would not be worried at all at these levels. But then it comes with a strong caveat and a disclaimer of what the Omicron can actually do in terms of, creating a havoc globally,
right,
as well as have some interest or, effect domestically.
Well, we'll continue this discussion with Jayanta Das, the business analyst on our program Market Mantra, but this is after a very short break, so please stay tuned on Market Mantra.
बड़े भैया इस कहावत को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि आंख झपक जाए और अवसर बीत जाए।
अरे छोटे, मतलब ये कि अगर आप निवेश करने के बाद उसे भूल जाएंगे तो उसे बेहतर बनाने के मौके आके चले जाएंगे।
वो तो ये बात है।
हाँ छोटे, निवेश के बाद उस पर निगरानी रखिए, आंखें मूंद कर सोते मत रहिए। छोटे,
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
सोच कर, समझ कर, इन्वेस्ट कर।
कार्यक्रम में आपका फिर स्वागत है। हम बात कर रहे थे शेयर बाजार के बारे में, चर्चा हो रही थी शेयर बाजार के प्रदर्शन को लेकर के। जयंता, यहाँ आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि अभी जो है बाजार अपने उच्चतम स्तर से लगभग 8% की गिरावट देख चुका है। क्या आपको लगता है कि जो गिरावट का दौर था या सिलसिला था वो अब थम गया है और अब वैल्यूएशंस भी जो है कुछ कंफर्टेबल स्थिति में हैं? तो आपको लगता है कि अब बाजार में पैसा लगाना उचित होगा, और ऐसे कौन से सेक्टर्स आप देखते हैं जो कि जिनका प्रदर्शन आने वाले कुछ समय में अच्छा रह सकता है?
देखिए, वैल्यूएशंस अभी भी कुछ क्षेत्र विशेष में माना जा रहा है कि ओवरस्ट्रेस्ड है, खास करके कुछ कंपनी जिसका नाम इस वक्त हम ले नहीं सकते बिकॉज हम लोग कंपनी स्पेसिफिक डिस्कशन करते नहीं है मार्केट मंत्र में। लेकिन सेक्टरली मैं काफी उम्मीद रखता हूँ। आज बैंकिंग स्टॉक्स में आज जैसे अपने देखे बैंकिंग में फ्लड उछाल आया है, और जब मार्केट में एक इंट्रावीक वोलेटिलिटी या एक 2 हफ्ते का साथ अगर एक स्ट्रांग वोलेटिलिटी जब मार्केट में होते हैं तो उसमें आप देखेंगे लगातार बैंक्स का रिबाउंड का जो स्ट्रेंथ है काफी अच्छा होता है, और कुछ कुछ बैंक का नतीजे भी काफी अच्छे आए हुए हैं। तो वो एक क्षेत्र है जहां पे आप अपना पसंदीदा जो भी आपको स्टॉक्स, जो भी आपको बैंक पसंद है, अब अपना वैल्यूएशन करके और साथ में अपना जो एक्सपेक्टेड रिटर्न्स का उम्मीद करके आप बेशक से निवेश उसमें कर सकते हैं। और ऑटो क्षेत्र के बारे में हम लोग विस्तृत रूप से बात की है, और ये एक अनदर सेक्टर है जो मैं मानता हूँ, खास करके जो कंपनियां इलेक्ट्रिक वाहन के ऊपर ध्यान देते हुए अगले 1-2 साल। लेकिन ऑटो सेक्टर में अगर आप निवेश करेंगे तो थोड़ा सा लॉन्ग टर्म का अवधि रखिए, 3 महीना, 6 महीना या 9 महीना का अवधि ऑटो सेक्टर में आपको रिटर्न अच्छा दे नहीं पाएगा इस वक्त। इसके अलावा मैं मानता हूं कि टेलीकॉम सेक्टर, जहां पे एक प्राइसिंग का जिसको कहते हैं कि खास करके जो 2 सबसे लार्जेस्ट टेलीकॉम कंपनीज हैं जियो छोड़ के, उन्होंने एक प्राइसिंग के ऊपर ध्यान देते हुए प्राइसिंग में थोड़ा सा बढ़ोतरी लेके आया, जिस वजह से शायद आरपू में कुछ फर्क पड़ेगा। वहाँ पे एवरेज रेवेन्यू पर यूजर का जो एक आंकड़े माना जाता है टेलीकॉम सेक्टर का अर्निंग्स के ऊपर ध्यान रखते हुए, तो उसमें जहाँ पे कंपनीज या जहाँ पे जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स होते हैं, स्टेक होल्डर्स जब रियलाइज करते हैं कि प्राइस कटिंग करने के बाद शायद कस्टमर बेस बढ़ाने के बाद एक ऐसा स्थिति आता है जहाँ पे आपको निर्णय लेना है कि भाई कंपनी को आगे चलाने के लिए बहुत जरूरी है मार्केट में थोड़ा रियलिस्टिक प्राइसिंग वापस आए, और मतलब कट थ्रोट कंपटीशन का मार्केट में जिस तरह का प्राइसिंग इंडिया में चल रहा है और उपभोक्ता के लिए तो काफी अच्छा है। एज अ कंज्यूमर ऑब्वियसली सारे लोग खुश है जहां पे उनको 300 रुपया में या 299 रुपया में इंटरनेट मिल रहा है, टॉक टाइम फ्री मिल रहा है, लगातार SMS मिल जाता है। लेकिन ग्लोबली कहीं पे भी इस तरह का प्राइसिंग में टेलीकॉम का जो भी मार्केट का स्थिति है वो अनिश्चितता के साथ भरा पड़ा होता है। और इंडिया में भी हमने देखे हैं कि जिस तरह से टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में एक अलग से चुनौती लगातार पिछले 2 साल से आ रहा था, तो अब ये प्राइसिंग रिवैल्यूएशन के ऊपर जो ट्रेंड बना है, मैं मानता हूँ आने वाले काल में आपका और हमारा जो सेलफोन का खर्चा है उसमें बेशक थोड़ा वृद्धि आ सकता है, लेकिन टेलीकॉम कंपनी के लिए भी एक हेल्दी मूव रहेगा। नहीं तो अगर कंपनी नहीं रहेंगे तो कल में सर्विस का भी हम उम्मीद नहीं कर सकते। तो ये एक अनदर सेक्टर जो मैं मानता हूँ अभी पिछले 4-6 हफ्ते के दौरान एक नया रिन्यूड एक्टिविटी और फ्रेशनेस के साथ आया हुआ है। इसके अलावा फार्मा स्टॉक्स वंस अगेन नॉट ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड बट उसके अलावा भी इंडिया में फार्मा स्टॉक्स का प्रोडक्शन काफी अच्छा रहा इन टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रस्ट ऑफ डिलीवरी ऑफ आपका जो भी उम्मीदें हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ मार्केट रिटर्न पर। और ये तीनों क्षेत्र में मानता हूँ कि आने वाला 2-3 महीने में अगर आप अच्छे से पढ़ के इस क्षेत्र में प्रवेश करते हैं तो काफी अच्छा वैल्यूएशन के साथ आपको स्टॉक मिल जाएंगे। अभी भी काफी कंपनीज है जिसका ओवरस्टेज वैल्यूएशन यहाँ पे नहीं है और खरीदारी खास करके खुदरा निवेशकों को खरीदने के लिए बहुत अच्छा एक मौका है।
We also saw profit booking in the pharmaceutical sector. In fact, it went down today, but in the trading sessions before, pharma had been going up, especially since the announcement of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. I want to draw your attention to the metal index because along with banking and auto, it went up between 1 and 2%. And you spoke earlier about how inflation is a factor which has led to the slide in the stock market from 60,000 now to the 57,700 level, touching 58,000 right now. Do you see metal prices also cooling down in the macroeconomic front, like oil prices are doing in the spot market, and that having an impact on the metal stock prices? Because we have seen metal stocks actually quadruple in the last 1 year. Do you see both oil and gas and metal stocks cooling down temporarily, at least with this threat of the COVID-19 variant?
Well, to be very frank, I strongly believe that metals had a really chaotic, overrun in terms of, movement. And obviously the quadrupling of metal prices, as you rightly said, over the last 1 year actually doesn't justify the ground realities and demand for metal. To a great extent, obviously, it also is linked with the super-rated economies of, USA to some extent in terms of metal prices going haywire. But yes, I do believe that there would be a correlation whereby if oil prices cool down, there would be quite a high chance that metal prices also can turn sober from these levels. But as I said, it's quite overvalued and quite stretched. So I don't see much headroom for metal prices to go from here upwards, specifically given the fact that US, I guess, is now officially thinking of how to claw back some of those, should I say, the policy cakes and ice creams and all which they offered to the nation at large as well as to companies at large. So if those sorts of clawback does happen policy-wise in terms of grants and benefits and supports and all, we would see some cooling down of prices across sectors and not just limited to metal and oil.
So apart from the stock market, in the currency market, we saw the rupee appreciate by 26 paise against the US dollar. So it appears that right now the 75 mark is what is attempted to be breached if the rupee falls. So do you see that happening?
Well, actually, if you ask me very frankly, it will be a wild guess. And I wouldn't like to guess over here. But I kept on saying that the rupee band at 74-75 levels in the previous 2-3 programs also would be held on to at this moment. Exports are doing pretty well at this point of time as we speak. But then having said so, what's also important to understand is how the oil basket moves over the next 3-4 weeks and affects the rupee portfolio and the rupee change. But in the same breath, I would also like to say the performance of dollar, which has had a stellar run. And obviously that also has a, equally direct impact on the rupee.
जी, और अब रुख करते हैं वैश्विक शेयर बाजारों का। सबसे पहले एशियाई बाजार। आज एशियाई शेयर बाजार अपने एक साल के निचले स्तर से ऊपर बंद हुए। हालांकि कोरोना वायरस के नए वेरिएंट ओमिक्रॉन के असर को लेकर जारी अनिश्चितता से निवेशकों ने सतर्कता जरूर बरती। दक्षिण कोरिया का कोस्पी 2.1% चढ़ा और सिंगापुर के स्ट्रेट्स टाइम्स इंडेक्स में 1.9% की तेजी रही। हांगकांग का हैंग सेंग 0.8% बढ़त में रहा, जबकि चीन का शंघाई कंपोजिट इंडेक्स और जापान का निकेई दोनों 0.4% लाभ में रहे। अंतर्देशीय कारोबार में यूरोपीय शेयर बाजार भी बढ़त के साथ कारोबार कर रहे थे। लंदन का FTSE 100 और फ्रांस का कैक दोनों में 1.3% की तेजी और जर्मनी का डेक्स 0.7% की बढ़त के साथ कारोबार कर रहे थे।
Well, we're heading for a short commercial break, so please stay tuned on Market Mantra.
बड़े भैया, इस कहावत को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि नाच ना जाने आंगन टेढ़ा।
सिंपल है छोटे, इन्वेस्टमेंट डांस की तरह है। अगर ध्यान से सोच समझ कर करोगे तो मस्त रहोगे, और अगर लापरवाही की बाजू वाले से भिड़ोगे।
ओ, तो ये बात है।
हाँ छोटे, इन्वेस्ट करने से पहले पूरी जानकारी जुटाइए और बाजू वाले की नहीं, अपनी अकल लगाइए।
बड़े भैया,
अरे छोटे,
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
सोचकर समझकर इन्वेस्ट कर।
Welcome back to Market Mantra. Let's have a look at the U.S. market story with our expert, Ajanta Das. Wall Street's main indices tumbled more than 1% yesterday after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the risk of higher inflation has increased and that it was appropriate to consider wrapping up tapering of bond purchases a few months sooner. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 both plunged 1.9% and the Nasdaq Composite Index declined 1.6%. Gento, just wrapping up this tapering or bringing about a taper tantrum from hedge funds and those who trade in stock from the U.S. How do you see this impacting our markets? Because the foreign portfolio investment, even though they become net sellers in our market now, at least in the last month, do you see the markets falling as a result of it? And why would the U.S. take that decision?
Well, we discussed this partly in Money Matters in the afternoon program. See, my take is 2 points on the twofold view over here. The first view is U.S. has overheated economy, so they have to take those measures at this point of time to rein in inflation, which is 30 years highest. So the measures obviously will be in terms of interest rates. Now, Fed is not coming out with a specific pronunciation of this, but all indications speak so. And as I said, if they believe that it's going to happen sooner than later, it's not going to be pushed at least over the next 9 months. So it's going to happen maybe in the next 4 to 5 months. So for terms of Indian market, now markets are very smart, unlike, observers and analysts and economists. Markets do overview things and react to it really fast at almost on a real-time basis. So if the tapering out happens around, say, March, April, or even Feb, markets would like to, determine a specific horizon value and likewise discount itself at this point of time. So we might see, coming back to the initial question, do we see a weak Indian stock market at this point of time? I guess, yes, there would be some pressure downwards. But having said so, as I said, the issue of the Omicron virus will also be an important factor. So from a case of, a push downwards, it should not be a plunge downwards if the Omicron virus shapes up. Now, the question that I brought in the Omicron virus over here is, if the Omicron virus is actually a potent threat, once the detailed studies come out in terms of its strain, in terms of its effectiveness, the only thing we know is it spreads real fast. That's what WHO told us, WHO. We don't know the potency of this, particular vaccine, this particular virus in terms of affecting and how deep the effect is. That's going to come in through more relevant data in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So if that happens, obviously for the government, U.S. government, to claw back some of its, policy, as I said, the policy softeners and the policy sweeteners they offered, to claw back early would be a question, at this point of time, which the government will have to take a tough call. But then, as I said, in plunging markets, you don't actually think of interest rates. Then you think of how to stabilize the market. So those are a mix of questions which we'll all get to see unfold in the next 4 to 8 weeks. So maybe by January end, we'll have a much more better and clearer picture.
Well, let's have a look at the oil market. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading around $72.50 per barrel, while WTI crude prices were at $69.15 per barrel. So with this COVID variant threat you're speaking about, it has had a decrease in the spot prices of crude oil. OPEC and OPEC Plus were planning to have a production output meeting in the month of January, but now they're going to have a meeting this month itself. What is going to be their response in terms of production cut or increase? Very briefly.
Well, I guess at this point of time there is a wait and watch policy, because I don't trust the oil cartel group nor the OPEC group to a great extent. The wait and watch policy will be to see how the particular South African variant pans up over the next 2-3 weeks. So if they believe that there is going to be affecting in terms of demand sluggishness, obviously they would respond much more severely in terms of going for a production cut to ensure that the oil prices remain at a high level.
Also looking at strategic reserves of crude oil, how do you see India dealing with this if there is going to be no supply increase?
Well, that's a call which I guess more than deal. There is no supply increase, you said.
Yes.
So then you just stare at high prices in that case. So obviously, as I said, if your manufacturing indexes are going up and you have a fair chance of economic activity speeding up from the 8.4% level, the demand for oil will also grow up. So we would be having a important but a concerning inflationary pressure further building up from our present level.
जी, मल्टी कमोडिटी एक्सचेंज में दिसंबर में आपूर्ति वाला सोना आज 90 रुपए महंगा होकर 47,895 रुपए प्रति 10 ग्राम पर कारोबार कर रहा था। चांदी भी 110 रुपए की मजबूती से 61,700 रुपए प्रति किलोग्राम पर कारोबार कर रही थी। न्यूयॉर्क मर्केंटाइल एक्सचेंज में सोना मामूली बढ़त से $1,788.90 प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रहा था। जयंता, यहां बहुत संक्षेप में आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि देश में स्वर्ण बैंक की स्थापना का सुझाव आया है पूर्व डिप्टी गवर्नर की तरफ से रिजर्व बैंक के। बिना भारी मात्रा में सोना घरों में पड़ा हुआ है। गोल्ड मोनेटाइजेशन, मौद्रीकरण, भारत जैसी उभरती अर्थव्यवस्था वाले देश में क्या लगातार ग्रोथ के लिए ये विकल्प एक अच्छा विकल्प बन सकता है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल, मैं मानता हूँ नीतिगत रूप से गोल्ड मोनेटाइजेशन कैन प्ले अ ह्यूज मेजर रोल इन आवर प्रेजेंट स्टेटस ऑफ इकोनॉमी, बिकॉज नॉट ओनली हम लोग का घरों में, आपको सबको पता है कि भाई गोल्ड एज एन एसेट काफी सारे गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसेज, बिल्डिंग्स, लोग कहते हैं कि भाई मंदिरों में भी रखा जा रहा है। तो उसको अगर एक प्रॉपर नीतिगत रूप से सेफ मॉनेटाइजेशन रोड मैप क्रिएट करते हैं तो बेशक इंडियन इकोनॉमी के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा उछाल।
And very briefly, do you see these precious metal prices going up?
Yeah, so I have been, despite the falling prices of gold last 4-5 months previous to this, I have been a strong proponent to say that in the next 1 year, we see gold prices stabilizing at higher levels. So I do feel that gold will remain to be buoyant at this point of time.
Thank you so much, Jayanta, for being with us on Market Mantra and giving us your views on market performance today. That was Jayanta Das, business analyst on our program Market Mantra. And before we close, a reminder of the headlines. Key domestic stocks climbed more than 1% amid positive global cues. Sensex closes near 57,700 level. Nifty settles above 17,150. Rupee appreciates by 26 paise against the US dollar. And Brent crude prices rise more than 4% to trade above $72 per barrel. And that's it in this edition of Market Mantra for now. Goodbye.
Namaskar.
Market Mantra.